Qapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Uhura. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember this is have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. All important things are needed new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. At a better rate, like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a seaport planet. From now on, you're gonna run it like a business. That means you're gonna make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before. Or Sin's tall word, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nichelle Nichols. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Bed Life for August 1st, 2022. It is a sad bed life as we remember the life of Nichelle Nichols, the real Lieutenant Uhura from real Star Trek. Not to be confused with the Uhura from JJ Track 2009 or the Uhura from Strange New Worlds. They are Uhuras in name only. They are nothing like the original character developed by Nichelle Nichols and Gene Roddenberry. And there's tons and tons of evidence. I don't even need to begin. It's not even worth discussing that the real Uhura was a communication specialist from United States of Africa on Earth. She was not some brilliant, specialized brain that like 1 in a billion people might have, that she could learn 50 languages before she left her hometown. No, she was just a woman who was good at her job. She had no special powers. She didn't have DNA from, special, super people. She didn't have any genetic enhancements. She didn't have any alien telepathy. She was just a good human woman who was good at the communications aspect of a starship. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it when people, women that are supposed to be pushing other women, that are supposed to be helping other women out, but women today, like on a certain Saturday night comedy show, they dismiss everything Uhura represented as, oh, she was just a phone operator in space. Fuck you. Who the fuck are you to say hey, just a phone operator? Just a phone operator. Just let's stop right there. You don't have a fucking clue what a real phone operator used to have to do. Okay, just a phone operator? You would be fucked.
My first job.
Mama Pray's first job was a phone operator. And it is not just fucking eating bubble gum and sticking wires in holes. Okay, that might be what you think it is, but it's not what it really is. Okay, just a phone operator just alone shows ignorance right there. But even if she was just a phone operator in space, it's more than you've ever done with your life. So shut the fuck up. Okay? Who am I talking to? Talking to the world. I'm talking to my people.
Yeah.
I was talking to my people. I don't want to hear people say Uhura was just a phone operator in space. She was much more than that. She was a communication specialist aboard the NCC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D, although she was also communications aboard the bloody A. But whatever. That's just because she was that good at it. So, yeah, that was the main thing on my mind. She was not simply a phone operator in space. She had an important job on an important ship. And that is why Martin Luther King himself told her not to leave the damn show. She wanted to leave the show to go back to Broadway acting, stage acting. And maybe not on Broadway, but stage acting. And he's like, no, you're too important. You're too important to the cause. The cause, of course, being equality for Black people. Just to get Americans to think in the terms of equality. Her job was to be there on that show every week on the bridge, so white America, or the rest of America, could get used to seeing people of color in positions of power. Because, not every place is New York City that, listen, I'm not saying it was a good time, but it was at least an integrated city. If you had people like Mama Pray who lived near people of all colors, who had friends of all colors, but I know that wasn't the usual across the entire giant nation. There's plenty of places to this day that are still very much segregated. That to me, though these days, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's okay. You have some segregated areas, but that's neither here nor there. It was a bold mission she was on, and she did it well. She did it perfectly. And I am sick when people try to dismiss what she did as just being like a token position. It wasn't a token position. Like it's like saying a doctor is a token position. You know what? Go fuck yourself. You haven't the clue. You haven't the tech. Nobody who has the technological know-how to do what she could do would ever dismiss her job. Only people who have no idea what she really did or what being a communications officer would actually entail would be the ones to make a joke or a riff about it. Okay, somebody who goes into I don't want to besmirch any particular job, but there are some titles that just aren't as fancy as a communication specialist. Okay, if you're going in each week to make, I only say this because it's in Better Call Saul, famous TV show that I'm watching that's coming to an end soon. If you are a manager of a Cinnabon, that's your job. Unless you had some extra spare life where you were an attorney for hire for the Mexican drug cartels, then you did not have an interesting, your career is not as interesting as a communication specialist in the armed forces or even fucking the Peace Corps. Okay, I take communication specialist. It's a good job. It's a fun job. It's interesting. God damn it! I miss her already. I miss her already. You know what her Uhura's Uhura, I say Uhura because it was definitely her character. I suspect it may have been her as a person, Nichelle as an actress. Maybe she had a little way of getting this into the scripts or whatnot. Certainly, the TOS scripts. I mean, with Jean there, Jean would have been very open to her suggestions because in Nichelle Nichols' book, she admits to have having had a affair with Jean. Wasn't the brightest spot of her life, but it happened. And Jean was, quite open to the women who were, he was more than friends with. So it's not the best thing, but it happens. Anyway, Uhura through TOS and the movies, she was always talked about beauty, physical beauty. She never wanted to lose her physical beauty. She was into things that would prolong physical beauty, and I suspect that Nichelle Nichols shared some of that passion for keeping her physical beauty. Now, obviously, she lived to 89 years old, but I'd say for a long time she remained an attractive woman. So I think she did a pretty good job. That she need not worry. She needn't worry about that. Anyway, we'll come back to it a little bit. Antidote Jill was first in the chat with a broken heart and then a heart for the lovely Uhura. Not Ryan Johnson says hello in Qapla. Hail Karoga. And John DeMarco says this isn't reality. This is fantasy. You wanted adventure? How's this? The old adrenaline going? Good boy. Now get in the closet. Yes, that is from Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. One of Uhura's most famous lines, certainly in that movie. And that was one of two tributes I was going to put up. The first tribute I put out yesterday, which was her doing the fan dance. And it seemed to be doing pretty decently for just an Uhura fan dance video. The other one was going to be her quote, her time from Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. If I get time, I'll just play that on the stream. LDG says FTN, which I'm sure means free the net. Project Storytime is in the house as Rip Nichelle Nichols. Gorilla's Random Thought says, hey, can only lurk for a while. Qapla, Rip, Uhura. Qapla, Gorilla. Thank you. John DeMarco says, greetings all. Greetings, John. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Birdo Pray 5 and chat. Greetings, Mike Richards. Hope you're doing well. Renalis. Renaeus? Reneus Nibet says, afternoon, everyone. Qapla. Reneus. Reneus? Reneais. Reneus. Okay, Reneus. But Reneus, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please put in the chat. Bradley Briggs says, Zup, y'all. Zup, Bradley. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. LDG Free the Net says, I love you all, even the ones I can't. Moxley Fan 21 says, we, the people. Arabic Sander says, Qapla. Qapla, Arabic. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Good evening, the lovely Yvette. LDG says, we the sheeple, it feels like. Arabic Sander says, hey to LDG. Project Story Time. Hail, Bird. Hail, Project Story Time. LDG says, rip, Uhura. Moxley fans says, Bird of Prey, Qapla Bird. Hope you and the family are doing well today. Thank you, Moxley. It's a mixed day. It's a mixed day. LDG is doing Live Long and Prosper, of course. Of course. We try and, there we go. Try and get it. Arabic Saunders in the house. Hakeem says, Qapla Bird in chat. Hope everyone is doing well. Qapla Hakeem. Robert Rose Jr. says, hello today, Bird will pray, Mom will pray, and the sassy. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you. Mercer Creates in the house. Says, hey, Bird will pray. It's Mercer. Create Qapla. Qapla. Mercer. Josh Street. Qapla Josh Street. Says, Bird will pray. Must have took the picture of him and Uhura down like he did with the picture of him and Sean Connery. No, I never had a picture of Uhura up. Scotty R37 has subscribed. Qapla, Scotty R37. If you're watching now, welcome to the channel. Mercer says, hey, Bird, yes, I read that. John DeMarco says, engage rant. Andrew Jill says, I attended the first wake on Mark D with C's channel last night. And now I am here for this one. Thank you, Bird. Understood. Thank you, Andrew Jill. Arabic Sandra says, hey to John. Says, hey back. LDG says, every effing time. Cinnabon Bunny's in the house. Hello, Cinnabon. Cinnabon's been going through his cards, his collectible cards, DS9 cards, and now Pokemon cards. Check out Cinnabon Bunny stream if you're into trading cards and Ego Moss models that will never be finished. I'm sorry, Cinnabon. Pleasant Valley Picker, California. Hail, everyone. Qapla, hail, Pleasant Valley Picker. Oh, maybe you and Cinnabon could trade some picks. Vincent Gallipo, Qapla, Vincent Gallipo. Says, Michael Burnham is the opposite of Nyota Uhura. Okay. See, this was one of the things. A newspaper article said that Nyota Uhura has been part of the Enterprise crew since 66 or something. I said, fuck that. No, she was never Nyota Uhura. Okay? Nyota Uhura didn't fucking exist until JJ. Okay? We were fans of Uhura. Nobody, you didn't know Uhura's name. Mamo Pray. No.
I'm sorry, what?
You didn't know Uhura's first name. Uhura. No, that's something that didn't come out till JJ track. John Street says, we lost Bird of Prey to another bird rant. Pleasant Valley Picker says, anyone who disses Uhura is an idiot. Absolutely. LDG says, hello, USS Enterprise. Please hold. Fuck you. You see? You see? This is the kind of problems we have to deal with. Pleasant Valley CA says, she was fourth in command of Structure 2. Yeah. And she wasn't a space Jesus, says Vincent Gallipo. Arabic Sander says, I remember her taking command on the animated series. Android of Jill says, an astronaut and a lieutenant communications officer and fourth in command. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you say astronaut. She really helped get NASA actual astronauts. Actual astronauts. And only because of her health. Only because of her health is she not going to get the title of being an actual astronaut. Surely, had she been 10 years younger, she would have been up in space by now, too. But that honor will fall to William Shatner. And I don't know. I don't know if anyone else the original series is going to. I heard George Takei was going to try to get up, but I would have thought he'd been up in space by now. So maybe a future mission, only because they hate each other so much. They can't let one beat the other. Pleasant Valley Picker says communications officer is one of the most important roles on a starship, essential for the Enterprise to survive. Oh, absolutely. On a starship, on an actual, like an aircraft carrier, or even a fucking cruise ship, is communications is an extremely important role. You have to be on the best game the entire time you're on call. Who's failed? Whose job failed on the Titanic? Yet the captain, you could say that certainly everything goes to the captain. But communications, it's a communications breakdown. That's, your communications breaks down. You hit an iceberg. That's it. Now you can blame the captain. You can blame other people. You can blame the bad iron that shouldn't have cracked to begin with. But immediately, first and foremost, communications. There was communications out there that there was ice coming. There was communications out there that it was very bad. They should have slowed down. These things weren't getting to where they needed to go. And it was a communications breakdown. People died. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz, Qapla, says, Qapla, Bird of Prey, I would like to think MLK was a big Star Trek nerd. Whether he was a Star Trek nerd or not, we know for a fact he watched the damn show. He watched the show. And I think he did. I think he enjoyed it. Project Storytime, she was the one making first cut. Yeah. Ooh la la. Android of Jill says, yes, absolutely he was. MLK. John DeMarco says, Spock told Uhura that there was no one better qualified to repair the communication station. LDG says, Besmeech. Arabic Santa says, really? That's awesome. I didn't know. But shit, it jumped. Vincent Gallipo with a $5 super chat. We will miss you, Nichelle. We absolutely will. A little shot there from Commander Shran to Nichelle Nichols. If you got it, drink up. If you got a shot, drink it. To Nichelle. To Nichelle. Um, let's see. Pleasant Valley Picker says anyone who disses her probably didn't see the show back then. Star Trek was ahead of its time with such well-written characters. It's ahead of its time, or it's ahead of its time now because characters just got more poorly written. Android of Jill says, yes, John, I love the scene because Spock doesn't ever compliment anybody. It was a fact. That's true. Not a compliment, a fact. Josh Street says, Vertebrae, you need to stop taking your picture with people off the wall. I promise you there was no picture of Uhura on my wall. Captain Fandom Nerd with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Captain. Celebrating the real
Just fix that damn
Uhura. We got an attack on DS9. Thank you so much, Captain Fandom Nerd. Celebrating the real Uhura, not Uhura from 2009, not Uhura from Strange New World, not Uhura who can speak 62 languages. Okay, the real Uhura needed a dictionary to translate to Klingon. Okay. Not the Uhura whose parents were tragically killed in some sort of shuttle accident. Okay, the real Uhura probably had a perfectly decent childhood. Not that, if that did happen, then we are sorry for her, but I don't think it did, since that wasn't something that her and Gene Roddenberry talked about. And had they talked about it, surely that would have come up in her books or in her conversations about her character. Anti-Druid of Jill with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Anti-Druid of Jill. And says, Uhura is not a costume. Nichelle Nichols is the only one. Rest in peace. I love that. I love that. Uhura is not a costume. Although, if you want to dress up like her, I'm sure she'd be thrilled that you were paying her such ultimate respect. But Uhura, not a costume. Pleasant Valley Picker says, anyone remember what episode it was when Uhura took the helm? That was a treat. That was a great moment. Yes. I don't remember the title, but yes. Vincent Gallipo says she saved the crew several times because of her particular skills. Tim Christ says, Vertebrae Nichelle was one of the most beautiful women I ever saw on TV. Oh, I'm sure she was. She was a little old for me when I started looking at women in that way, but she certainly wasn't ugly. John DeMarco says, Uhura filled in at navigation in Balance of Terror. There we go. Oh man, how did I forget that? Pleasant Valley says she made even the most basic line sound great. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't think of a bad line. She didn't always have a lot of lines, but every line she had was well delivered. Pop Culture Curator says, hello, guys. Qapla, Vertebrae, hope you're doing well. Thank you, Pop Culture Curator. Vincent Gallipo says, Pleasant Valley Picker, it's a Balance of Terror. Thank you. The Barnes Homestead says, and then there were three, William, George, and Walter. She was like family and will be forever remembered and missed. Thank you, Barnes Homestead. Qapla, Barnes Homestead. I love the name. And what an opening comment. Vincent Gallipo, she's great in Plato's Stepchildren. Oh man, Plato's Stepchildren. There's soot in the air if I watch that episode. I actually skip it sometimes if I'm just not emotionally up to it. Project Storytime says, I wasn't able to make the last con she was at before she retired. So sad I didn't get to meet her. You know, I didn't get to meet any of these people. When I was a teenager, I really wasn't into cons. I wasn't, I'm sure there must have been plenty of cons in New York City, in or around the area. I had zero interest. And it wasn't until I started graduate college did I, finally start piquing my interest. But just as I started to have the time and the money to go to cons, with my career starting, I lost all the time to be able to go to cons. So time went on, and even though I was in San Diego during San Diego Comic-Con a couple of times, there wouldn't have been time for me to go. And even if there had been time, I just still wasn't that into it. Now I would have been into it, but obviously I can't go because I can't get out of the house. I have all to do to get out to the front of the house and hang outside for 5 minutes, that I'm not going to Manhattan to a Comic-Con with thousands of people. So I don't think I will ever meet William Shatner, Walter Koenig, or George Takei. Would love to see Avery Brooks. What, Mama Frey? Yeah, you can get to the door. No, it should be good. You'll be fine. It's tilted the other way. It's tilted towards the side door. Yeah. Yeah. Good thing I don't think not seeing these people is really gonna miss anything. I see them through the actors. I see them through the characters they play. Captain Fandom Nerd says hello. Android of Jill says, yay, Scotty R37. He is my friend. And hello, Scotty R37. Any friend of Jill's is a friend of the channels. Professor Brainy Speck says hello. Qapla, Professor Brainy Speck. Glad you're here. Scotty says ahoy, and Qapla, ahoy. Ahoy, hoy, Scotty. Vincent Gallipo says Charlie X and The Man Trap are great episodes with Uhura. Professor Brainy Speck says PMIVW. I don't know what that means. John DeMarco says, welcome to Professor. Pop Culture Curator says, I think it's Pleasant Valley Picker, Canada. Pleasant Picker, CA? Oh, Canada. Yes. The CA is a Canadian flag, probably, but YouTube doesn't show it for some reason. Thank you, Pop Culture Curator. Pleasant Valley Picker, Canada. Sorry, Canada. Jedi Bill says Qapla, Berto Prey. Qapla, Jedi Bill. I saw you on the Saggy Melon stream today. Andrew Jill says sub to Scotty R37 for cool movie stuff and put out his link. And I will get to that. I subscribed I subscribed. I am, oh, well, we're just past 1,000 subscribers, 1,000.08 subscribers. So I'm up there. I don't know exactly which number I am, but whatever it is, close enough. I'll just say I'm 1,082. Andrew Jill says, I just read that. Pop Culture Curator says Nichols mentioned Uhura's name at conventions, but not on screen. Ah, well, that's good to know. Just one name, Uhura. Pop Culture Curator saying hello, Jedi Bill, everybody. Project Storytime, Vincent Gallipo. Jedi Bill says hello, brother warrior. Qapla. Oh, Arabic Saunders says hello to Jedi Bill, brother warrior. Everybody saying hello to each other. Just one pleasant fest in the chat. Yes, it does mean Canada. Almost everyone thinks California. Lol. I should probably change it and take off CA. It's up to you, Pleasant Valley Picker CA. I'm pretty sure there's a place in California called Pleasant Valley. So, and if there isn't, it sounds like there should be. So that's why. I tell you, there's a lot of problems with California and Canada. There's a city in California, Ontario. And of course, there's Ontario, Canada. And more than once, people have mistakenly gone to a different country, thinking they were going to Canada or thinking they were going to California. And no, Ontario, CA looks like California, but is indeed is the same description, the same shortening as you would expect for Ontario, Canada. That's a tough one. The Captain Fandom Nerd came in. Pleasant Valley Picker Canada says agrees. Seem our culture has devolved. The 1960s, 70s seemed much braver to examine the way society was and move forward. Now it seems culture creators want to divide people. Yes, it does. And they do. And I don't know why. For the love of me, I really don't know why. Professor Rainey Specs as Bird of Prey asks Salty why Strange New Worlds Uhura has all those language translation skills and Star Trek VI Uhura doesn't. I would ask him, but what does it matter? He doesn't have the answers any more than I do. Andrew Jill says, yes, cosplay is different and perfectly fine. Captain Phantom Nerds with Professor Brennan Specs. Salty is SJW. He will always defend that. Jedi Bill says, Qapla, brother warrior, bird of prey, and all hail Karoga. Absolutely. Exactly, Captain, says Professor Brainy Specs. Scotty R37 says, Uhura's fan dance is from Star Trek V. I was 11 and still and fine with much of that. And fine with that much fine. Yes, yes. The fan dance video is up. Orville Nation with a $2 super sticker. Thank you. It's a fake. It's a fake. Orville Nation, PJ, good to see you, PJ. PJ, it's got to be tough It's going to be tough. The Orville, it's coming in. These last 2 episodes, one was better than the next, and they're damn near perfect episodes. And now everybody's going to be looking for a 10 out of 10, a 10 out of 10 on this final episode coming up this week. And what if they don't? What if they can't deliver? Anything less than damn near perfection is going to be a letdown. Oh man, I hope you're okay, DJ. I hope you're okay with what comments might come out next week or later this week, for that matter. Just a few days from now, the Orville, the final episode of the Orville, at least for the 3rd season. Is there be a 4th season? We'll see. We'll see. The Random Menace with a €2 super chat. Thank you, Random Menace. Says, we lost Uhura, but we still have Kyle. Oh, Asian Kyle from Strange New Worlds. And a toast to Asian Kyle from Commander Shran as well. Android of Jill will be driving and listening now. Okay, Android of Jill, have a safe drive. Pop Culture Curator says California is Pleasant Valley, not Pleasant Valley. I see. Pleasant Valley Picker says, I remember the episodes with the Lincoln, the Savage Curtain, where Uhura tells Lincoln that the human race has learned to no longer fear words. Great line. Man, has our culture regressed and gone backwards. It sure has. It sure has. I remember that episode. He's like, oh, he apologized. She's like, why? Why would I have any reason to fear words? We've learned not to fear words. Orville Nation with a $2 super chat now says, we love you, Nichelle. Thank you. I'm sure Nichelle Nichols would give love to all of her fans. She might say, well, why aren't you donating to one of my charities, though? Which I assume she must have. But
could take weeks, sir.
Well, we won't tell her about it. I won't if you won't. Orville Nation says, hey, Bird. Hello, Orville Nation. PJ, glad you could make it. Pleasant Valley Picker says, no need to apologize to Pop Culture Curator. John DeMarco says, greetings to Orville Nation. Pop Culture Curator, using his 14-month super chat, says, California isn't Pleasant Valley. Not Pleasant. California is Peasant Valley, not Pleasant Valley. I see it now. Sorry about that, Pop Culture Curator. California is Peasant Valley. Well, I am sorry for the peasants. Sorry for the peasants that have to make their livelihoods there in the state of California. Professor Brainy Speck says, Bird of Prey, Salty has the answer. Then I will ask. Captain Fandom Nerd says, hey to Orville Nation, who says hello right back. Lubos Chuddy says, greetings from the future to the Random Menace. Orville Nation lols. Multi-Gunman says, Bird of Prey, hi Bird. How's it going? It's going decent, Multi-Gunman, so far. It's been a rough day, mixed day. Woke up terrible. Things not when you wake up and things are as bad as they could get, then there's nowhere to go but up. So, yeah. Random Menace says hello to Labos Chetty, his neighbor. Karoga is Pleasant Valley. It is. Random Menace. Karoga can be described as a Pleasant Valley. And Gorilla's Random Thoughts. I'm sure Uhura would appreciate a kissing Dax. You think she would? You think she probably would. Let's give her one. Okay. I'm going to try to do this. And let's see.
City station at 2200 hours. All is well.
Understood. All stations clear.
You amaze me, Commander.
Oh, how is that?
A 20-year space veteran, yet you choose the worst duty station in town. I mean, look at this place. This is the hind end of space.
Peace and quiet appeals to me, Lieutenant.
Yeah, well, maybe that's okay for someone like you, whose career is winding down.
Okay.
But me, I need some challenge in my life, some adventure. Maybe even just a surprise or something.
Well, you know what they say, Lieutenant. Be careful what you wish for. You may get it.
Good evening, Commander. Is everything ready?
Step into my parlor, gentlemen.
That's Admiral Kirk, my God.
Very good for you, Lieutenant.
But it's damn irregular. No destination orders, no encoded IDs.
All true.
Well, what are we gonna do about it?
I'm not gonna do anything about it. You're gonna sit in the closet.
The closet? What, have you lost all your sense of reality?
This isn't reality. This is
no audio.
You wanted Adventure House this. The old adrenaline going, huh? Good boy. Now get in the closet.
Okay.
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 Go on. Go on.
I'll just get in the closet. Okay.
I'm glad you're on our side. Can you handle that?
Okay, I will.
Mr. Adventure eating out of my hands, sir. And I'll see all of you at the rendezvous. Oh, and Admiral, all my hopes.
Okay. There was no audio on that. Did you guys hear audio when Kissing Dax was playing? Audio just started. Oh well. That's what I was afraid of, was no audio. Did you guys hear audio during Kissing Dax? I think it was just so low. You guys didn't hear it. That might be it. Professor Brainy Specs says Salty has an incorrect answer. Please let me clarify. Well, then why would I ask him if he's got the wrong answer? Orville Nation says he's going to DM Captain Fandom Nerd. LDG says you might be gone, but you will always live long and prosper in our mind, Nichelle Nichols. There you go. There you go. That's the right thing to say. Orville Nation says sup to LDG. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says Pop Culture Curator. I was making a joke because that is a joke on the stream. Uncle Remus, Qapla Uncle Remus, says rest in peace, Nichelle Nichols. The multi-gunman says bird of prey. What the hell happened? You're on the outside of a Klingon bird of prey, and somehow you're able to still breathe and not freeze to death. Yeah, I know. I know. It's weird. Now, part of my body has phased off, I guess. It's, it's cloaked. My left hand is cloaked. The rest of the cloaking device comes Tuesday. LDG says, hey to Orville Nation. Pleasant Valley Picker says, never thought my name would become a topic of conversation. Oh, don't. We've got plenty of people's names become topics of conversation. The multi-gun says, Bird of Prey 5 hates me. He hasn't accepted my friend request on Discord. I accepted 2 yesterday. If it's still there, I will accept it. I don't go to Discord all that often. If it had legit been there and I didn't accept it yesterday, then it's no longer there. You got to redo it. Pleasant Valley Picker says, okay, Dax and Kira making out. I must have missed that episode. Well, it's Mira Kira. It's Mira Kira. LDG says, still can't hear it. Barely. Well, if you hear it barely, then you hear it. Random Menace is a closeted officer in the 23rd century. No. Pop Culture Curious says, we heard Dax. So you heard Dax. Then why wouldn't you hear that? That's weird. That is weird. Dax was with audio. Okay, now that's really confusing. Very faint audio. Okay, I guess it's just low. Well, I can't. You heard audio for both, says Captain Fandom Nerd. And did Gorillas. Okay. Okay, it was just low. It was just low. No biggie. Professor Brainy Specs is vertebrae because I want you correct. I want you to correct Salty. But that's the thing. Nobody can correct Salty on his stream. It's impossible. John Aragi wants Dear Bop. We'll get to the Dear Bop shortly. Random Menace says it was kissing Dax. It was Dax kissing the Borg Queen. Okay, that certainly never happened in canon. John Araki says you should make a Jeep dashboard view screen. That's not a bad. That's not a bad. It's not a bad thing, John. I don't know if it would work. Captain Fandom Nerd says the Pleasant Valley Picker. I honestly thought you were from California. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, darn it. No notification. I think YouTube is shadow banning you. I'm so sorry, Wes. And Wesley puts in all the custom emojis. Sisso Prey, me, Tribble, Nephew of Prey, Sassy, Mom of Prey, California, Karoga Flag, Bird of Prey 5X, Bird of Prey, and the number 5. Captain Fandom Nerd says, Wesley, how are you? Wesley says, Bird of Prey, I'm always missing your live streams. And he says, hey, Captain, I'm good. Not getting notifications. I'm sorry, Wes. Pop Culture Curator says, Salty doesn't allow opinions other than his own. Escilium says, why you got a 2? Oh, oxygen? I need it to survive. Yeah, I've got heart failure, and heart's not pumping like it should, so the oxygen is lower than it should. So I need a little. It's only set to 1, which is the lowest setting. Yeah, you'd be surprised how much even a little bit helps. Keeps the oxygen generally north of 90, but it does drop into the 80s from time to time, even with the supplemental. Without the supplemental, it would always be below 90, and that's just no good. That's just no good. I find that when the oxygen is over 90, it gives the organs and the chance to kind of heal, repair, and they just work better. They work better than when the oxygen is low. Granted, it's not like a pass out, but like after a few days, my blood sugar gets higher, my kidneys don't work as well, liver might not work as well. So it just helps everything to have a little higher oxygen. Indy's Tiger Sci-Fi Review says, good evening all. I created my tribute video 10 months ago. Very cool, Indy's Tiger. Pleasant Valley says, when my last grandfather passed the priest, giving the graveside eulogy, must have been a Trekkier, since he recited the line about us, as long as we remember them, they live on in our memory. I'm sorry, I had a phone call. When my last grandfather passed the priest, giving the graveside eulogy, must have been a Trekker, since he recited the line about as long as we remember them, they live on in our memory. Yeah, that's that whole thing. I don't know if it was Star Trek or if it was some other popular movie or something, but I was thinking a lot about your second death. Your first death is, of course, is when you die, but your second death is when everyone who has any memories of you dies. Anyway, it's conceivable that we're already lived to a point in civilization where no one might ever die a second death, in that there's YouTube videos, there's pictures on social media, you know, things, whatever you do on TikTok, whatever. Now, granted, most of this stuff will probably ever get deleted, and most of this stuff will probably never be watched again. But in theory, it could be. I mean, granted, someone who has a YouTube channel, like, I got, okay, not counting a tiny, shitty YouTube channel like myself, but somebody who has a larger YouTube channel, like, say, Doomcock. Will somebody 20 years from now, 30 years from now, will they be able to access a Doomcock video? I would like to think that it will be possible. So who's to say that somebody who hasn't even been born yet will 30 years from now come across a Doomcock video? And even if they're 1 in a billion, there's still going to be probably 10 people on the planet at that point who find a Doomcock video and they watch it all the way through. And now they know, to a point, how, a little bit. They know a little bit now about Doomcock. And so he's alive in their memories. Even if they don't think of him every day, there's 10 people in the world who presumably know who the guy was, to a point. And that's just fascinating to me. I find it utterly fascinating. Because like I go through when I was a kid, and I haven't been, as a family, we are really shitty about going to the grave sites. my grandfather was buried in a cemetery, and he was laid out, and we went obviously for the funeral, and we saw him buried. And I had a car at some point. I could have gone and visited him myself without needing to ask my parents. Early on, I would have needed my parents to take me, but eventually I could have gone myself. I always thought I might, but I never did. And my grandmother didn't go, as far as I know. My aunts and uncles didn't go, as far as I know. My parents, well, my dad didn't go, as far as I know. And I mean, it was my mom's father-in-law, but she certainly didn't go. We just didn't go. We didn't go to cemeteries. And so you got buried, and that was it. So when my father passed, we didn't have the money, and he certainly didn't want us to waste it. I mean, we could have gotten the money, but it would have been hard, really, really hard. He certainly didn't want that, and he saw nobody was going to the cemetery anyway. Why waste the money? And so he just got cremated, and now we have those ashes here, and we see them every day. And yeah, so since then, everybody's that I know of has changed their from being buried to just whatever the cheapest method is, and it's generally cremation. And we take the ashes, and the day will come at some point when we can do something with the ashes that will make everybody happy. And I don't know how I got on this line. What was we talking about? Oh, second death, first death. Right. First death was when you die, and second death was when everybody who remembers you dies. And that's a scary time. That is way more scary than first death. Pleasant Valley Picker says, can't remember what episode it was from. Yeah, I can't remember offhand either. Wesley Crusher says, Bird of Prey, I think you need to get your eyes checked. That's not the California flag. Trust me. I don't see a flag, Wes. I'm not on a mobile device. You only see a flag on a mobile device. On the computer, it's just CA. It just says CA. Random Menace says, Bird of Prey, the actress Sushana Thompson literally played ex-wife of Dax and the Borg Queen on Voyager. Oh, okay. Well, that's not the Borg Queen. That's not the same thing. Lubos Chuddy says, Random Menace divorce with Dax made her go furious mode and changed to Borg Queen. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, you need a hyperbolic chamber to sleep in. It helps get more oxygen and heal. You know what, Wes? That's probably true. Except I would never be able to get to sleep in a hyperbolic chamber because I'm too scared of small spaces. Captain Phantom Nerd says, Wesley, you ever get on Discord, or is there a better way to reach you? Good question. Pleasant Valley says, that may have been from a TNG episode. Wesley says, Captain Phantom Nerd, you can message me directly on Discord. Random Menace says, Birds Only fans will remain forever. Pleasant Valley says, you can imagine if 100 years from now, folks rediscovered a channel and formed a fan group around it, could make an interesting story if well written. It's true. Like what would be the equivalent of 100 years ago today of an internet group? Like I don't know. The writing, the I would guess like just the writings of a social club, the written history of a book club, maybe. I don't know. Random Menace says, why would anyone sane watch a Doomcock video? I think I'm sane. Sane-ish. Wesley Crusher, and I'm talking about like Friday Night Frolics, Random Menace. So regardless of what you might think of Doomcocks, political or social, not social, what's the word? Pop culture thoughts. Regardless of what you might think of his take on pop culture, on Kathleen Kennedy, on the state of Star Trek and what's been fired, and Alex Kurtzman, Friday Night Frolics is fun for the whole family. It's music and laughs and jokes, literally, and impressions, and just a whole variety hour type thing that goes on for 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes. It's good stuff. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, your channel might be small, but it's not shitty. You have some comedic gold moments, especially when you're not trying. Oh, thank you, Wesley. I appreciate it. Pop Culture Curator says TOS and their movies will still be seen in the future. The rest made after has aged horribly. The newer, the worse. That's true, and I agree. I believe TOS, the TOS movies, TNG, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise to a point will be seen in reruns for decades and decades to come. I highly doubt that Discovery, Picard, or any of the new Trek will get that type of replayability. Pop Culture Curator says, like Harlan Ellison said, if you visit a grave, the loved one isn't there, only your memories. Pleasant Valley Picker, Canada says, I no longer live in my hometown. I don't think about driving to see grave sites. I'd rather remember them alive. Standing next to a grave is depressing and empty to me. When my mom passed, I had her cremated as she wished. I have her ashes in the next room in her urn. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said. Random Menace's cremation is the best compression format for story. Indie Tiger says, so many older cousins. I'll be going to the cemetery until I shuffle off this mortal coil. I'm sorry to hear that, Indie Tiger, but at least you were blessed with a big family. Wesley says, what is Bird talking about? I don't know, Wes. I thought if I just kept going, eventually I'd find the way out. I don't know. I got stuck on a route, and I wasn't going to turn around and ask for directions. Captain Phantom Nerd says, Bird of Prey, I doubt many will care when I die, and when I do, there better be a party. Well, that's something you should certainly talk with people. Let them know that's what you want, Captain, because I a flat out party is a little, I get it. I get it. I do. I just, it's what, a celebration of life, says Mama Ray. Yeah. It feels weird. Ludos Chubby says, Random Menace, what about RAR or RAR or zip? Oh, yes, it's compression. Wesley says, hey guys on PC, you see this. Yes, well, that's a custom emoji. That's a custom emoji, Wes. I'm talking about the built-in flags. The built-in flags of the world. All the countries' emojis. Pleasant Valley Picker says, I'm at the age where I've lost enough family and friends that I no longer dwell on their loss. I can concentrate on making the best of every day, even though I still waste too much time. Dave G sounds as a pub. Welcome, Dave G. John Araki says Doomcock could be the next Shakespeare. He could. We could. Pleasant Valley Picker says a Doomcock cult where the faithful sings songs from the 30s. Yeah, well, that's what they made us be because of the copyright laws. Pleasant Valley Picker says frolics is a nice way to unwind the end of my work week. I agree. Pop Culture Curator says TNG has aged badly. The TNG actors have aged badly. Pleasant Valley Pickers, as Pop Culture Curator, agree that that the remains are not the person we loved. Didn't Klingons say it was just an empty husk? Yes, they say the body is of no consequence. Dispose of it how you please. Off to work I go, says Wesley. Qapla, Wesley. Sorry you didn't get to Dear Bops today, Wes. I thought I'd get to it by now. Random Menace says, Wesley, take care. Pleasant Valley says, the Pop Culture Curator, agree. We recently finished reviewing it on Saturday Night Trek, and TNG has not aged well at all. Okay, guys. Let us head over to Dear Bob. Oh, wait, before we go to Dear Bob, let's see. Let's see if I can get to Wordle. Let's see if I can't get through Wordle. I heard there was a Q somewhere in Wordle. So let's just try Quest. Okay. So we got QU and T all in the right spot. Now, I had no idea that was Q. I mean, let's face it, Q was probably starting the word, but I didn't know it was at the start. Okay, QU. So there's probably, if it's not an E and an I. Okay, I know it's not an E because, okay, what word could it be? Quilt. That's the only thing I could think of that. Oh, wow. It's not quest. It's not quilt. QU. Quail. Why? Oh. Wow. I mean, oh, crow, quat, quote, QU. Oh, no, that's OTE. Quote, quote, woot, quote. I don't know. Is that a word? Note. Wow. Okay, guys. Quilt. No, it's not quilt. Not quilt. Milk comes in. Quart. Quart. Q-U-A-R-T. Quart. Yes, it is. Thank you, LDG. Milk comes in quarts. There's an art to it, Bird, says T-Bird. Okay. Quaint. How quaint, says T-Bird. Quark. Well, it ends in T, T-Bergen. We found it. So thank you, T-Berg. Okay. Let's get to the deer bots. Wow. Wow, we got quite a few after we started today. Dear Bop, Deep Space Nine Sydney Opera House hat. Oh, I was curious what that was. Kai wins hat. Okay, I see. And some spam. Dear Bob, why do you think it's okay to steal other people's content? I guess I would ask as to which content specifically do you mean? If you mean Star Trek, like stuff that's owned by Paramount, I don't say I steal it. I'd say I use it under fair use. But I'd be curious as to what you mean as stolen, because I don't think I've ever stolen someone else's content. Dear Bob, you do think it's okay to steal content that doesn't belong to you. You support emulation, the downloading of content you don't own and did not pay for. Just because you want something doesn't mean someone is obligated to sell it to you or give it to you. You have no claim of eminent domain on someone else's property. What is the difference between stealing and pirating content from a website online and just walking into someone's house and grabbing a game you want just because? Well, I'll tell you. One is I steal from somebody, and the other is I don't. If I make a copy of a digital ROM, no one is deprived of the digital ROM themselves. I'm not taking it away from anybody. I'm not preventing anyone else from using it. Okay, everybody who would have had a copy still does. The only difference is now I also have a copy, and so everybody is happy. Nobody is making money from a 1987 ROM. I just don't feel bad for copying a Sega game or a Nintendo game that hasn't been mass produced in 30 years. Dear Bob, my old co-workers used to tell stories of working for telephone companies at like 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Every once in a while, they would send a call to their husbands at home to make them get up out of bed just to hear what time it was in New York. Did Mama Pray ever do anything like that?
No, I worked there. I was 16 years old.
Mama Pray says no, she was 16 years old. Wasn't married. I don't think so.
No.
Dear Bob, can you solve an argument on who the racist is in this situation? I made a video tribute to Nichelle Nichols And since I'm not very good at making thumbnails, yet I used the same thumbnail I use in all my streams, but person said I was racist for using a picture of a gorilla to honor a black person. So who is the racist? Me for using the same thumbnail I do for all my streams. I am a guy who associated with a gorilla with a black person. See, this is what they call a slippery slope. I don't think it's racist, personally, but I understand why some people do. I get it. If I was in your situation, I would say, this is just my default thumbnail. My name is so-and-so. That's my channel name. You can see every video I have has this thumbnail. And say, but being you brought it up and being I can understand your situation, that I will go ahead and create a custom thumbnail for this video. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry it triggered you or something like that. Not apologize that you did it, apologize that they had a problem with it. I hope we can move forward. And that's it. Don't ever address it again.
I agree with everything you said except that.
Mama Bray agrees with everything I just said, except she wouldn't change it. LDG says you create your own piracy. It's their fault. Pleasant Valley Picker says the only way you'd be stealing would be if you stole a physical item. I tend to agree. Pop Culture says, that's great. DS9 just isn't my thing. I thought it was boring, and I dislike Ferengi and bad CGI with Odo. I don't think Odo's CGI is bad. John Araki says, Bird thinks it's okay to steal your woman. Fellas, watch out. Listen, on that account, if you want to keep her your woman, then you got to step up your game. I do think. Listen, all's fair in love and war. All's fair in love and war. You think I'm going to give up a good woman because you met her 6 months before I did? No. No, it's war, gentlemen. Dan Ben says hi. Welcome, Dan Ben. John Araki says Gorilla Guy is racist unless he's black too. LDG says the entire underground laughed at that. Slippery slope, haha. Keep the thumbnail, says LDG. Pleasant Valley Picker says, Pop Culture Curator, oh well, haven't seen it in years. So maybe as I review the episodes, my opinion will modify. Still, I thought Quoke finally made Ferengi interesting. He absolutely did. 6 votes to keep the thumb in the underground. Pop Culture says, don't change the thumbnail, Gorilla. And John Araki says, Bird bends the knee to the woke mob and not the real fictitious mob. Listen, I'm just saying, I get it. And you want to pick your battles. You want to pick your battles, and that is not the hill I would stand to die on, personally. Dear Bach, I think after having COVID, I think I am now qualified to be president of the United States. Don't laugh, I'm dead serious about this. Look at my qualifications. I get easily tired and need to take frequent naps. I can't remember details of conversations anymore. I trip over my own feet and fall upstairs. I think my oldest child is on drugs. Some woman keeps making all the decisions for me. What do you think? Do I have a shot? Salty Tracker. Oh, I thought this was someone else. I'm still sure it's not Salty. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I think you do. I think even Salty has a shot. Even Salty Tracker has a shot at being president. That's how far our standards have fallen this year. Bots. Thank you for fighting the bots. Thank you, Mike Richards, for fighting the bots. Dear Bob, I disagree with all the reasons everyone disliked the latest movie or TV show. I actually like those things about the movie or TV show. I dislike lots of things that everyone actually liked, though. I wouldn't rate it very high, but I would certainly not rate it as low as everyone else. Everyone is too negative. Thanks, the tracker, formerly known as Auntie. Wow. We're getting lots of stuff from Auntie Tracker tonight. No, Sassy, nobody's here. Dear Bob, I think I finally solved who killed JFK. I do believe that Oswald acted alone, but if you look at photos, there was an agent in the chase car behind Kennedy who took out a machine gun. When the car suddenly accelerated, the agent was thrown back in his seat and, having turned the safety off, accidentally squeezed the trigger and hit JFK. If you look at the entry angle of the wound, the type of damage done to Kennedy's skull with the exit wound, the wound would be a larger caliber than what Oswald was shot with. This would also be supported by those who claimed they smelled gunpowder on the street, not something they'd smell from a book depository. But they could have smelled if there was a shot fired from street level. In the end, there's still a cover-up, but the cover-up is in regards to an accident versus a mob or Soviet or pro-Castro supporters. What say you? And as we know, Sam Beckett pulled the trigger too. I have no idea what happened to JFK. I suspect it was a sniper shot, though, considering what it looked like from the video. Now, I'll be honest, it does not look. That was not to only get off one round from a automatic gun that only shoot once. That would be tremendous. If the gun was to go off, it probably would have shot 2 or 3 rounds at least. So I really don't think that is likely. My deeper thoughts on JFK, I don't know. It changes. It changes. Every time I hear a different part of a conspiracy. Dear Bob, if an old guy never gives you advice while peeling an apple with a pocket knife and eating the pieces right off the blade, you should probably take the advice. The old guy has probably seen some serious shit. Yes, I agree. You become much more trustworthy, an old man cutting an apple with a blade. Dear Bob, I went on a date with a woman recently And I told her that I may be 45, but I have the body of a 19-year-old. For some reason, she ran away when I opened the freezer to show her. Do you know why? No, I don't know. I'd have thought you'd been curious to see this body. I guess the question was she 19? Maybe that's why. You hit too close to home. Did I read that? Yeah. Dear Bob, thank God when rock solid. No! Dear Bob, hi Joe. Well, aren't you a sweetheart? Thank you so much for your letter saying I was your favorite Orville character ever. You are the first person to send me such sentiments. I had so much fun doing that episode, Midnight Blue. I'm glad you liked the song we did in the show. And yes, you can come to Dolly World, and I will sing it to you personally. And and since you all asked nicely, I'll send you a personally signed size 38 Triple D bra. Sending you and the Opry family passes for Dolly World, and you can even bring Sassy, as we are dog friendly. See y'all soon, Dolly. Well, Cotton? No. Gosh dang. Isn't Dolly Parton a fine, nice old woman? Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be heading to Dolly World anytime soon. Dear Bob, there are 3 moles in a tunnel. The first one says, I smell sugar. The second one says, I smell cinnamon. The third one says, I smell molasses. ... Mama Pray.
What?
Do you get this?
I'm sorry.
Do you get this joke? There are 3 moles in a tunnel.
3 what?
Moles.
Okay.
In a tunnel.
Yeah.
The first one says, I smell sugar. The second one says, I smell cinnamon. The third one says, I smell molasses.
Molasses. Moles acid.
Mole's asses? Ah, because he's behind the other 2.
Yes.
Thank you, Mama Pray.
You're welcome.
That's a terrible joke. Dear Bob, Fang Fang here. Oh, God. Long time no talk, my big panda bear. Hey, many of your country people are coming to Taiwan, and I want to invite you too. Don't worry, I protect you. You'll be fine. Okay? You stay at my apartment with me and my other husbands. Okay? We have your favorite food, hairy tuna. Thank you. See you soon, Panda Bear. Bang, bang. No thanks, bang, bang. I'll give a hard pass on the hairy tuna. Dear Bob, photo of Agent Hickey, real name with an AR-15. Okay. Well, I guess that's an AR-15, that's not an automatic weapon, unless it's set to be automatic. Again, I still think it would be, if it's automatic, if it was an automatic weapon, I still don't think you'd get just a single shot. Dear Bob, there are only 21 sad days until Christmas Eve. Where'd the year go? Stop counting by Saturdays. Jesus Christ, people. You want to scare me? 21 Saturdays until Christmas Eve?
Everybody.
Oh my God.
About my,
What, Mama Frey?
when I thought it was June 30th the other day,
Yeah.
and I lost the whole month of July. I was shocked.
Yeah, Mama Pray thought it was still June.
I thought it was the end of June.
Thought it was the end of June and July was about to start. Dear Bob, I just got 2 dogs. I named them Rolex and Timex. They're bred to be watchdogs. Ah, ar, 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 ar. Arabic Saunders says, Bird of Prey, can we please see the surveillance video of when Fang Fang delivered? I didn't save it. Pop Culture Curator says, I think Oswald's gun was bolt action, 1 shot at a time. Yes, I get that. John Aragi says, Bird of Prey, what's Bird of Prey getting Mama Prey for Christmas? Whatever she wants. John Araki says, early in Asian Muslim woman from the PRC as the second best choice. Hershey's announced they cannot meet the demand for Halloween this year, says John Araki. What demand? Just sell everything you normally sell. Dear Bob, the other day I told my wife that she needed to embrace her mistakes. For some reason, she gave me a big hug. Do you know why? Confused in Kurdistan. I'm guessing the thing about embracing her mistakes. Arabic says, sure you didn't save it. I didn't. Dear Bob, did you know that before the crowbar was invented, crows just drank at home? Wow. Wow. These are some horrible, horrible jokes. And thank you again, Mike Richards, for clearing up that spam attack. Oh my God. These jokes are horrible. Horrible jokes. Thank you guys, though, for the Dear Bob submissions. Let's do a quick check of the news. Pelosi expect to visit Taiwan. Capitol rioter guy refit gets longer. January 6th sentence, but no terrorism enhancement. He threatened Nancy Pelosi. Sure he did. Kentucky flooding. Oh, that's terrible. That is very sad. How do you get stuck? I don't understand how people they die in floods, but I guess it's like I just don't live in that type of area, thankfully, where rivers swell and flood. You know, here in New York, we could get flooding from the ocean during a hurricane, possibly even, I guess, are always at risk from a flood from a rogue wave, but flooding via river, not so much. Camera's off, Mama Pray. You can go to the door. We got a delivery while Mama Pray was outside.
It's the first. It's the rest of the
California wildfires, 2 dead as firefighters battle McKinley phrase. McKinney phrase. That's fire is obviously not good. Charges. Man responded to angry shoves by fatally stabbing teen, wounding 4 others at Apple River.
No, this is yours.
Oh, it was mine. My box. Well, sounds like he was he was assaulted. 10 Oregon deaths may be heat related. Wow. That's too much.
What did they do? Oh,
Remembering Nichelle Nichols, 1932 to 2022. Okay, that's that. Yeah. Oh, shit. Well, everyone was right about the Orville. Okay, we're reading these two. Now we're going to first start with that, and then we'll go to there. Remembering Nichelle Nichols. Star Trek.com honors the late pioneer actress and her legacy. Star Trek.com is deeply saddened to report the passing of Nichelle Nichols, the Star Trek franchise beloved Lieutenant Uhura, who passed away on July 30th, 2022. And she didn't pass away on the 31st, which was the day we heard about it. She passed away the day before. So it was not the same day as whose ever's birthday.
George Jetson.
George Jetson. It wasn't George Jetson's birthday. The Radiant. Ebullient? Ebullient? I do not know that word. Ebullient actress embraced Star Trek on her role, and the fans spanning parts of 5 decades as a favorite guest on Star Trek at Star Trek and science fiction conventions all around the world. Nichols was born December 28, 1932. Wow. Part of the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, damning times for this country. In Robbins, Illinois, south of Chicago, to her father, Samuel, the town mayor and chief magistrate, and her mother, Alicia. She was 15 when she launched her career, touring with Duke Ellington as a dancer and singer, studying in Chicago as well as New York and Los Angeles. She also played the title role in Chicago stock company production of Carmen Jones. Her earliest film credits included roles in Porgy and Bess and Mr. Budwing, Doctor, You've Got to Be Kidding, and Made in Paris. I say, for a young woman of color, she certainly seemed to have a slightly privileged upbringing. But that's fine. Everybody's got privileges, and everybody has deficits. In 1964, Nichols guest starred on the television show The Lieutenant in an episode titled To Set It Right from writer-producer Gene Roddenberry. Having made an impression on Roddenberry, he hired Nichols to co-star in his next series, Star Trek, as Lieutenant Uhura, the Starfleet communications officer stationed aboard the USS Enterprise. But wait, Salty Tracker, you said Gene Roddenberry didn't hire. I don't know. At the end of season 1, Nichols planned to quit the show, but the combination of a conversation with Roddenberry and a chance meeting with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. changed her mind. When I told Gene I walked away, as far as I was concerned, it was a fait accompli. A fait accompli. I understand it means done deal, but I don't understand what fait accompli. I never heard of it. She recalled, I remembered I grew up in musical theater. I belonged to the theater, not to a television or movies. Who would give up a career in movies? Those were things I did when I hadn't quite made it where I wanted to go, but I was on my way. I had quite a lot going for me. I had no idea the power of being on the screen and people seeing you weekly, but I was ready to go. As nice as this little part was, and I loved the people and loved working on it, I was getting experience in a new medium. I didn't think twice about leaving, continued Nichols. Jean said, "You can't, Nichelle. Didn't you see what I'm trying to do here?" I just looked at him because I was resolute. He said, "Okay," and I handed him my resignation. He took it and looked at it with sad eyes. He was behind his desk, and I was standing in front of him, and I'll never forget it. He said, "I'm not going to accept this yet." He put it in his desk drawer and said, "Take the weekend and think about this, Nichelle. If you still want to do this on Monday morning, I'll let you go with my blessings." I said, "Thank you, Jean," and I thought, "Whew, that was rough, but I got through it." That weekend, I went to what I remember as an NAACP fundraiser, though it could have been something else, remarked Nichols. Whatever it was, I was in Beverly Hills. I was being seated at the dais, and as other notables were coming in to join us. One of the organizers came over to me and said, "Miss Nichols, I hate to bother you just as you're sitting down for dinner, but there's someone here who very much wants to meet you, and he said to tell you that he is your biggest fan." I said, "Oh, certainly." I stood up and turned around, and who comes walking over towards me from about 10 or 15 feet, smiling, that rare smile of his, is Dr. Martin Luther King. I remember saying to myself, well, whoever this fan is, whoever this Trekkie is, I'll have to wait because I have to meet Dr. Martin Luther King. He walks up to me and says, "Yes, Miss Nichols, I am your greatest fan. You know I can talk, but you know I can talk, but all my mouth could do was open and close, open and close." I was so stunned. Dr. King told Nichols that Star Trek was the only show that he and his wife, Coretta, allowed their little children to stay up and watch. He described to her what the show and her role meant to him, how important it was for people of color to see Uhura, this character with dignity and knowledge. Finally, Nichols interrupted him, saying, "Thank you so much, Dr. King. I'm really going to miss my co-stars." Dr. King looked at her, the smile vanishing from his face, and said, "What are you talking about?" I told him, Nichols recalled. He said, "You cannot." And so help me, this man practically repeated verbatim what Jean said. He said, "Don't you see what this man is doing? He has written this. This is the future. He has established us as we should be seen. 300 years from now, we are here. We are marching. This is the first step. When we see you, we see ourselves, and we see ourselves as intelligent and beautiful and proud." And he goes on, I'm looking at him. My knees are buckling. And he said, "You turn on your television, and the news comes on, and you see us marching and peaceful. You see the peaceful civil disobedience. You see the dogs and see the fire hoses. And we all know they cannot destroy us because we are there in the 23rd century." That's all it took, Nichelle Nichols continued. I went back to track on Monday morning and told Jean what happened. He sat there behind that desk, and a tear came down his face, and he looked up at me. I said, "Jean, if you want me to stay, I will stay. There's nothing I can do but stay." He said, "God bless Martin Luther King. Somebody truly knows what I'm trying to do." He opened his drawer, took out my resignation, and handed it to me. He had torn it to pieces. He handed to me the 100 pieces and said, "Welcome back." Nichols went on to appear in all 3 seasons of Star Trek, the original series, She reprised the role of Uhura in the first 6 Star Trek featurettes and provided character voices for the animated series in 1974 to 1975. In an attempt to attract more astronauts of color and women and to utilize her influence on so many young, budding astronauts and scientists, NASA contracted Nichols in a campaign to reach further applicants for their space shuttle program. One applicant included engineer Dr. Mae Jemison, who was the first Black woman in space. Not the woman who said it's nice to be black on the moon. That was from Space Force, a Netflix TV show. That legacy continues into the modern astronaut corps, where sex and color no longer matter, as it should be. Nichols told StarTrek.com using an interview in 2012, "I continue to be proud to have been chosen to make those first women, including Dr. Sally Ride and Dr. Ronald McNair, and minorities a reality." She maintained her ties with NASA for decades. In fact, in October 2014, Nichols introduced the space program's newest vehicle, the Orion, via a video that she narrated. And in September 2015, she flew into space as part of NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy telescope mission. So she did go to space, close to it. Nichols' non-track credits included Truck Turner, The Supernaturals, Gargoyles, Futurama, Snow Dogs, Are We There Yet?, Heroes, Scooby-Doo, Curse of the Lake Monster, The Young and the Restless, as well as the films Unbelievable and The White Orchid. Over the decade, she released albums Down to Earth, Star Trek Out of This World, Designing Jewelry, toured as a one-woman show, Reflections, during which she paid tribute to the female black blues and jazz singers who inspired her, and published 3 books, a 1994 autobiography titled Beyond Uhura, Star Trek and Other Memories, and the sci-fi novel Saturn Child and Saturn's Quest. She also received many honors over the years, including early on 2 Sarah Siddons Awards nominations for Best Actress for her performances in the stage productions of The Blacks and the musical Kicks and Company. NASA bestowed upon her a Public Service Award in 1984. In 1992, she was both awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and became the first Black actress to place her handprints in front of Hollywood's Grauman's Chinese Theater. In May of 2013, the city of Los Angeles lauded her career in the entertainment industry as well as her contributions to the city fields of culture, philanthropy, and civil rights. Then in February 2014, Essence feted her as one of the champions of civil rights movements on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Nichelle Nichols' legacy will be outlived by centuries. Will outlive her by centuries. Back in 2010, StarTrek.com interviewed Nichols with questions submitted by fans. The conversation ended with this question: how does it feel knowing you've inspired so many people like Dr. Mae Jemison and Whoopi Goldberg, who are a couple of your more famous fans, but also so many others, people you may never even have met? Nichols paused for a moment and then replied, "People keep saying you inspired women of color. I say yes. Black, white. I say yes. Black, white, yellow, brown, red, and probably some with green blood and pointy ears." Jean's brilliance was in casting people from all over Earth and an alien. It made everyone feel like they belonged. I wasn't a Black communications officer, I was a communications officer who happened to be from Africa, who happened to have brown skin. So have had women of all stripes tell me how Uhura inspired them to reach for the stars. I have had women who have named their children after Uhura and even after Nichelle. That is the way life is supposed to be, concluded Nichols. What Gene did by casting us helped change society, changing the way people thought, changing the world. It's amazing he wanted Star Trek to be a reflection of the world, and that's what happened. God damn it. Right fucking there. In her own fucking words. In her own words. And they don't fucking get it. They don't get it on Discovery. They don't get it on Picard. They don't get it in Strange New World. They just don't fucking get it. That fucking paragraph. 2 paragraphs. She is not the first Black communications officer. She was a communications officer who happened to be Black. And yes, she hopes she was, she showed, she was a, what's that? Inspired. She hopes she was an inspiration to all people of color, Black, white, yellow, brown, red, green-blooded aliens. God damn it. It's so perfectly said in her own voice. And they don't get it. They don't get it. They're still trying to pass like, oh, we got our first Black captain. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The first Black captain was shown in Star Trek 4, okay? The Voyage Home. And it was the first fucking thing the first Starfleet ship we see was the, I think it was the Saratoga. But black female captain all the way back in 1986. Okay? And nobody made any fucking big deal of it. No, it's not going to be an unboxing video. It's a, I'll show if I got time. Arabic Saunders says, that's so awesome. Thanks for reading that. I'm sorry if it got too long for people, but I knew somewhere in there was the gold, and we got to it. We got to it. Thomas Hill says, wow, it only takes one person to change the world, but start with a single step in the right direction. She is a woman of action, not just words. I agree. I agree. Okay, now let's see what's going on with this Orville. What was everyone right about? No, I'm not going to listen to the article. I want to read it. Even though I have a dozen odd shows to be keeping up with any given time for a few years now, I have not been able to escape a consistent recommendation, The Orville. Originally, the show seemed like it was going to be Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane's attempt at a live-action Star Trek parody on Fox, and perhaps that's how it was originally pitched and greenlit, because the actual show, it's not that, not even close. The Orville, now about to finish up its 3rd season under new ownership at Hulu, is far from a parody of anything. It's much more of an homage or a tribute to early Star Trek, which MacFarlane clearly adores, but given the current state of Trek, somehow, improbably, is actually a lot better than all other current Star Trek projects. Discovery or Picard. Recently, Star Trek Strange New Worlds felt like it's been drawing on the Orville, for inspiration. In addition to older Trek, it's given its shift in focus to smaller, occasionally humorous stories. Another curious element here is just how much you can watch the budget increase across seasons. Season 1 looks like it's practically an SNL skit. I don't think that. Season 2 got a lot more money for space battles and such. Well, that's true. And season 3, now funded by Hulu Disney, is producing practically blockbuster level sequences with runtimes to match, including this past week's wild 9th episode with 4 space battles, with 4 species battle royale for the fate of the universe, fate of the galaxy, not the universe. Things have escalated. If it's a good show, I'll give it more money. Seems like the Hollywood 101, and yet that doesn't seem to happen as often as it should. But the reason the Orville works so well is because despite all the flashy effects, it remains grounded with its characters. By focusing intensely on the core cast of 6 to 7 main characters, we get these years-long arcs that really pay off with continued investment. The best stories are about the saga of Qapla, a child from a horribly repressive alien culture, and Isaac, a sentient robot, constantly torn between his acquired human family and the directives of his home race. If I have any criticism of this show, it's that the characters they show probably does the least with is Captain Ed Mercer himself. Some say that McFarlane isn't suited to that role and shouldn't have cast himself. But I don't think that's the issue. It's more, he just feels like more of an observer to these more compelling sagas than a meaningful participant. Then, of course, there are politics, which does not feel like a 2022 woke thing, but again, a trip back to original Star Trek, which dealt with social issues all the time, even if fans would like to forget that. Here's a show that handles truly a wide array of topics here with surprising heart, whether it's misogynism, transphobia, or even abortion. There are plenty of ways this could all have gone wrong, and none of this would have worked if the Orville was a true parody. But after 3 seasons, it feels like even though it was inspired by Trek, it's built up its own characters and mythology and can resonate with audiences even if they never watched Star Trek at all. Wow, that's cold. That comes close to describing me, as even I've seen a few seasons. Oh, what happened? What's my financial IQ? Even though I've seen a few seasons of movies over the years, I've never been a true Trekkie. But I am now a fan of the Orville, and in this age of nonstop Star Wars and Marvel stuff, Disney would be wise to cultivate potentially new and engaging original universe like this one within its catalog. Watch it, you won't regret it. What the fuck? What is the title here? Well, everyone was right about the Orville. Well, it was a good show? That's what you're saying everyone was right about? I guess. Good for you. I thought there would be something. Goddamn. Well, whatever. Not every click you click on is going to be a winner. Star Trek Picard showrunner teases season 3 villain, which Enterprise and Worf's Dominion connection. Worf's Dominion connection. Andor trailer. Diego Luna's Rebel Spy returned in Star Wars spin-off. Let's see that. This isn't Worf. Worf is not supposed to have white hair. Worf should have his same black hair. And no, anti-Trekker, salty Trekker, is not because Michael Dorn has white hair. He doesn't. If you've seen the man, he doesn't have white hair. And even if he did, all of this hair is prosthetic or fake. There's no natural body hair. None of Worf's hair is actually used on Worf. None of Michael Dorn's body hair comes through the face of Worf. Every bit of eyebrow and beard and even his head hair is all fake hair. There is zero reason for his hair to be white. Okay? His hair could be any fucking color. His face could have any number of wrinkles. He has the full face makeup. There's no reason, zero reason, he can't play a Worf that looks like the Worf we saw on DS9. Okay? There's zero reason he can't be the same exact guy. People say Worf looks the best. No, he doesn't. He looks the worst. At least it's not Klingork. At least it's not Klingork, maybe. But that's not Worf. That's not Worf. The ridges are wrong. Last week, Paramount Plus revealed the first look of Next Generation characters in Star Trek Picard. They also hosted a Comic-Con panel with more reveals. Picard Season 3 was the idea of showrunner Terry Matalas, who wasn't on that panel, but who has spent the week on social media celebrating the reveals, along with clarifying some of what was discussed and even answering fan questions. The effing Enterprise. One of the biggest reveals to come from the panel was discussions of the USS Enterprise, although it wasn't exactly clear which one. TNG was set on the Enterprise D, and the movies transitioned to the Enterprise E. This tweet from Matala seemed to point in a different direction from those two ships. Shutting this down before people get their hopes up. It's not what you think. So what are the F and talking about then? Get it? What the F? Cough. Okay, I see myself out. So do we return to the original Enterprise? I forgot we had carpet on the floor. That makes kind of advancement. That's the kind of advancement that's been made. Sir Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to read between the lines to see the emphasis on the F, which could indicate that the season will feature the Enterprise F, which could make a sense that it's 2 decades after Star Trek Nemesis, and there have been a number of advancements in ship technology, as seen in Season 2. When a fan picked up on the hints, posting an image of the Enterprise F from Star Trek Online, Matalas appeared to clarify again that the season isn't set on the Enterprise, saying it's not, but. I think he's hinting the show is going to take place on the Enterprise F. He says it's not, but. Putting this all together sounds like they're mostly back where they started before the big panel, which is there's a new ship that will be the main setting for the season, which is redressed the USS Stargazer set from Season 2. But Matalas seemed to be indicating the ship isn't the Enterprise F, but hinting the Enterprise F plays some role. Of course, nothing is really confirmed. This is all just Twitter's tea leaf reading. I guarantee you the sets are just redressed and cheap. I don't guarantee, you know what? I don't guarantee you anything. I don't guarantee you anything except you're going to be taxed and you're going to die. Taxes and death. That's all I guarantee. We got one more Dear Bob. Let's read that and then I will come back on screen and we'll call it a night. Dear Bob, you should never ask for a hippo for Christmas. That's why I was engaged to my ex-wife. All I want for Christmas is a hippo. No. You're right. You shouldn't ask for a hippo for Christmas. Hippos are dangerous animals, and they will eat you. They will eat you faster than Alex Jones will eat his neighbor. That's fast. Arabic Saunders says, didn't he say every character in Rogue One movie died? I don't know. Thomas Hill says, I would like to see a gray hair, if not black. On Michael Dorn? I mean, you could have gray a little, I guess, but not like white like that. Pop Culture Curator says, that opinion about the Orville is one-sided. It's not full far left liberal politics, child grooming and sex changes, feminism and misandry. McFarlane is a beta male coward. Wow. Dan Ben says, no Trek movie is going to cite that reports Trek info. No Trek movie is a good site that reports Trek info. Professor Brainy Specs says, let me clarify. The Orville New Horizons is every bit as good as DS9 and Babylon 5. I don't know. It's good. It's good, but it's not some. DS9 is a tall order to match. Dan Ben says, Bird of Prey, from what I heard about the new seasons, the Enterprise D saucer section from Generations was moved to a Fleet Museum and will make an appearance. Okay. Dan Ben says, Star Wars Andor is a prequel to Rogue One film. Okay. Thomas Hill says, I don't make guests, and I don't care what the people say about the series till I get to see it. I care what people say. I mean, if they know what's coming, I want to hear what they have to say. Dan Ben says, to quote Homer Simpson, hippo. I just talking about Homer Simpson, it just popped into my mind. The scene where he's driving, the episode opens and Homer's driving and he's singing to himself along the Flintstones theme, but he's talking about himself. He's like, Simpson, Homer Simpson, he's about to hit a chestnut tree. Ah! Boom. And then it opens. I think they got to get the car fixed. Thomas Hill says, yes, there are many good-looking gray-haired Klingons in Enterprise. LDG says, Stargate Babylon and DS9 blows Orville 3 out of the water. Professor says, Paco the Curator, I think you went to the Orville with predetermined opinion and seeing things that support that opinion. I saw a completely different show. Dan Ben says, is there gray-haired Klingon in undiscovered country? Offhand, it's hard to tell. Hard to remember. Anyway, we're going to call it a night here, guys. Remember, rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols, Uhura, the real Uhura. We miss her. And you know what, guys, if you want to wait a minute, I will see if I can get that video to play with, I'll see if I can get that video to play. But if not, that's all we got left to show. So let me go to, we're going to take this video. Howdy, YouTube. This here is Bird of Prey 5. And I've got an original song for you today. It's called The Ode to the Unknown Subscriber. And it was written by me. One sad morning. It goes a little bit like this. No, stop listening. I woke up this morning and opened my channel. Every day is a battle. Every sub more important than branded cattle. Branded cattle? What the hell was that? But this morning when I checked my stats, I was shocked. I was saddened. I was surrounded by bats. A YouTube
Roger. Old City Station at 2200 hours. All is well.
Okay. Okay. Now, okay. So turn up your volume, guys, because this is as loud as I can make it. I will mute myself, so that will be the end of audio from me.
Station at 2200 hours. All is well.
Understood. All stations clear.
You amaze me, Commander.
Oh, how is that?
A 20-year space veteran, yet you choose the worst duty station in town. I mean, look at this place. This is the hind end of space.
Peace and quiet appeals to me, Lieutenant.
Yeah, well, maybe that's okay for someone like you, whose career is winding down. But me, I need some challenge in my life, some adventure. Maybe even just a surprise or two.
Well, you know what they say, Lieutenant. Be careful what you wish for. You may get it.
Good evening, Commander. Is everything ready?
Step into my parlor, gentlemen.
That's Admiral Kirk, my God.
Very good for you, Lieutenant.
But it's damn irregular. No destination orders, no encoded IDs.
All true.
Well, what are we gonna do about it?
I'm not gonna do anything about it. You're gonna sit in the closet.
The closet? What, have you lost all your sense of reality?
This isn't reality. This is fantasy. You wanted adventure? How's this? The old adrenaline going? Huh? Good boy. Now get in the closet.
Okay.
Go on. Go on.
I'll just get in the closet. Okay. Aaron.
I'm glad you're on our side.
Can you handle that,
Oh, I'll have Mr. Adventure eating out of my hands, sir. And I'll see all of you at the rendezvous. Oh, and Admiral, all my hopes.